thank God it's a Friday. We all made it to the end of the week. Of course, the first weekend in February, but technically the end of January. I am boosting number 5. This is how the markets performed just before we head into the weekend. The Egyptian stock market came back of 0.5%. The big news this morning was that the International Monetary Fund has conducted his discussions with the authorities in Cairo, and the door could be open for as much as $10 billion in financing between the IMF, the World Bank, and other partners in support of President El-Sisi's economic reforms to push up the value of the Egyptian pound. We expect some devaluation could happen as well. All of that in the news for a Friday. Friday is the start of the weekend in Egypt, but officially speaking, no one is off for the weekend until this deal is done, according to Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the IMF. The meeting is still going on. A deal is very close. I said early this morning, Nigerian time. Keep that in mind. Egypt is set to review its existing $3 billion deal with the IMF, which hasn't been touched, to raise that much higher to about $10 billion US. Market expectations is that this $10 billion will come into the coffers of the authorities in Cairo and would help Egypt to move very strongly forward in its 2023, 24, and 25 and 27 economic periods. Keep that in mind. So the market sniffed that on Thursday and came back strongly. Right now, the pound is trading at about 30.31 to the dollar at the official window, and about 65 at the parallel market. Get back to Nigeria, where the central bank has been firing all this week as far as the Naira exchange rate is concerned. Yesterday, the central bank removed the cap of 2.5% previously existing on international monetary operators fund transfer. We're expecting those folks to start shipping millions of dollars into Nigeria in diaspora remittances anytime soon. Let's see how all of this get together. The head of the central bank in Nigeria is set to sit before the National Assembly on Tuesday morning to explain the state of the economy and, more importantly, the state of the falling Naira. All of that, the market went up 1.63% yesterday. The banking sector came up, as well as the insurance stocks. The banking sector lifted the market. We saw gains in Zenith Bank, as well as Jitco and a few others, with the news coming through this week that FBN Holdings has a new chairman, Femi Otedola, Nigeria's billionaire businessman and a very deep pocket investor. All of that in a very busy week for Nigeria. Of course, the Nigerian stock market up 1.63% to turn around after those 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday adjustment for the end of the month, rebalancing the portfolio, and the market kept firing on Thursday. Let's get into the BRVM. The market was down. The composite was down 12 basis points on Thursday, as we saw declines in the Bank of Africa, Senegal, and the Bank of Africa, Niger Republic. Both stocks were listed on the BRVM. Take it to the Nairobi stock market, down by 0.29%, 91.91 Thursday, while the GSE fell with the rest of the emerging markets. European markets were down Thursday as they digested the latest Eurozone inflation data and do nothing central bank decisions from the Fed to the ECB, and of course the Bank of England also on Thursday leaving interest rate unchanged at about 5.25%. All of course, all the talks about rate cuts between now and March could be out of the window, but still bets out there as to when these three major central bankers will hit interest rate. All of that in play. Let's move on to the rest of the continent as far as the headline news are concerned. Cairo in news. But of course, let's stop that and move on to Kenya in Nairobi, where France says it's injecting about 3.2 trillion shillings into Ugandan projects across the various sectors. France is pushing up its economic and social-political influence across the African continent with the rebellion we're seeing in 3 West African states of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Tanzanian Breweries says it has a new managing director, the first female CEO of this 90-year-old brewer. That's Michelle Kilpin. Thank you so much. Congratulations to everyone for putting the woman in the driver's seat. Let's see what Tanzanian breweries will be brewing moving forward with this new female managing director. Congratulations from all of us here at Front Africa Reports. Let's get back to Kenya, where the agri-tech startup Apollo says it's raised about $10 million in debt funding, and the Central African Republic says it's looking to raise about 200 billion CFA franc on the BEAC market. That's the Central Central African region. That's called the CEMAC region. That's what we've got. That was centered by the BEAC. Quite a whole lot more head scratching for Ruto's administration in Kenya, by the way, with the court coming fast and furious against the president, whether it has to do with sending troops to Haiti or as far as the tax levy is concerned, the affordable housing deal is all a bit naughty right now for the administration in Nairobi. Keep that in mind. Let's step out of East Africa and move into West Africa. We've got a whole lot coming up in our region as well. The new president of Liberia is disputing with the immediate past president what's the size of the public debt of Liberia. The new president says about $2.2 billion at the end of 2023, at the end of December. Was the balance indicated that he met in office, subject of disputes as well between the immediate past administration and the new president of the West African country. At the top of the table, of course, is Nigeria's PMI, reporting another expansion in the PMI manufacturing activity, according to independent data from Stanbic IBTC, 54.5 in January against 52.7 in December. In the meantime, the era of sustainability reporting is here for publicly listed companies. So on Thursday, the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria sat with the Nigerian Exchange, Nigerian Regulatory, the NGX Regco, as well as other partners to discuss the calendar for Nigerian companies listed on the NGX to start reporting on the sustainability requirements effective 2025. Keep that in mind. You want to add up, see if you are up to speed on financial reporting requirements for sustainability. The new horizon for the world. Airtel Africa, not so spectacular news as far as the financials, key metrics are concerned. In the financials, subscribers base went up for its third quarter 2024. Profit after tax, however, sunk to $2 million away from $530 million or so, which was posted in the same period of 2022. Blame the currency devaluation in Nigeria and the kwacha in Malawi. That's in the news. Of course, yesterday, revenue down 1.4% for this iconic telecommunication wireless operator operating in 14 African countries. And Niger Republic this week missed $3 million local bond repayment. That's what they call, well, the consequences of just exiting itself from ECOWAS sub-region. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso says they are self-delisting from the ECOWAS 16-member nation bloc just a few days ago, earlier this week. Now, those three countries are under serious sanctions by ECOWAS. And that is in the news as well. And of course, you got a salt mining company, Electrochem in Ghana, says it's looking to list on the Accra Stock Exchange later this year. We're expecting that to come, and congratulations to everyone adding additional company to the local boss there in Ghana. Let's take it to Southern Africa. And of course, we're all looking at the South African banks not funding Hamas. That's according to the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana, reacting to some media reports regarding what's going on in the Middle East. Mozambique Central Bank on Thursday cut a rate from 17.25% to 16.5%, following in the footsteps of the Bank of Ghana, which cut rate 100 basis points to 29%. Just about 3 days ago. South Africa's PMI slumps to 43.6. That's a contraction against the borderline, 50.9, where it was in December. That's a negative news for Ramaphosa's administration. And the Absa Group says it's opened its first overseas office in Beijing, China. Make Africa proud, put it there in the world's second biggest economy. Let's get on to see North Africa. And again, we'll finish there with the news coming through that the Egyptian central bank has raised interest rates just as it's finishing discussions with the International Monetary Fund. However, 3 days ago, the IMF released its latest outlook for 2024 for the Middle East and North Africa, saying in that report that the conflict in Gaza and lower oil output would dent the region's economic outlook, 2.9% for the current year. Egypt, however, says it's ready to do about $17.5 billion in bond T-bills into the market, whether that part of that money of it will be in foreign currencies. We'll get more details from Egypt. And then the countries agreed to cut investment spending by 15% in the 2023-2024 period. And finally, Saudi Aramco and Sonatrach of Morocco says they're raising LPG prices in February. That's about 1 to 2%. And those are your headlines as far as North Africa is concerned. And for the rest of the continent, to have a great weekend, everyone. And see you back on Monday, bright and early, here on Frontier Opening Bell. I am Bustin Omofai. I'll see you then.